we had a few discussions, and that was it. I went to YA after that, and Raymond, you know, at YA we heard Raymond lost his life.
Oh, so you was in YA when that happened?
Yes, I was, you know, right after Mac, and also Mac Thomas and somebody else. I did time with Newberry.
Mac Thomas?
Well, yes.
Yeah. I always heard, I don't know where I heard this from, was about Raymond, what the name of the hood, Raymond Avenue. How did he ever respond to that when he heard about his Raymond Avenue?
Oh yeah, well, the first time he heard, well, he had already heard, but I presented the blue rag and the name to him at the first crib meet. I told you about it sitting up.
Yeah.
And I walked up to him again. He had already seen me because he had a very good acute memory. He had a very good memory. I mean, once he knew you, you know. And I walked up to him again, right before we got to talking about Ricky, and said, Raymond, you know, because first time I met him, I was with Ski from Shotgun.
Okay.
This time I was with, you know, my cadre from Raymond Avenue. It was a bunch of us.
Yeah.
And we walked up on him. I had the blue rag, so Raymond, it's from us to you.
Yeah.
He was like, what's up? I was like, you know, I like everybody else knows, but now you do. We Raymond Avenue Crips.
That's how you greeted back then? You gave it the blue rag?
The blue rag, yes. And he was like, you know what, homie, I like that name, homie. Yeah. I said, I'm sure you do. You'll hear a lot about us in the coming days.
I always heard that too. I heard he said that he liked the name.
Oh, I love the name.
That's what I heard.
Of course.
I'm sure that's his name. Yeah.
Right.
And you know, I ran across somebody, man, years ago when I was in the pen, and somebody was trying to tell me, which I knew better, that Raymond Washington started y'all hood. I'm like, nah, dude. So yeah, that's like, come on, bro. I'm young, but I know better than that. I got my OG homies and laced me. I ain't dumb now, but he was trying to say, I thought Raymond Washington started y'all hood. I said, nah, we off of Raymond Avenue. That's just whether that's the coincidence with his name, you know what I mean? But I want to touch on that, man, because I see they making this movie about him right now, which is cool, man. They need to bring that out there because everybody hear about Tookie and everybody else. You need to see showcase him a little bit more as well, man. But yeah, I didn't know you was in YA when that happened, though.
Yeah, I was in YTS with both of them. I was in YTS when Mac lost his and when Raymond lost his life also.
What was like Tookie like back then?
Oh, Took?
Yeah.
Took was, well, Took was, if you would just, I don't know, for people out there that got a little bit of a sense of history, let's just say Nation of Islam. To me, so Nation of Islam, the face of Nation of Islam was Malcolm X. But everybody knows the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was, you know, the man behind the scenes.
Right.
He was the man for it. But that's the same with Took. Big Took was our Malcolm X. He was our image. He was the symbol of Crippin' per se. He was the, you know, leader based on that alone. But besides that, Took was a very humble individual. Yeah. I mean, he was, at times he could be, Took had a penchant for slapping people back in them days. I mean, he would, you know, if you thought that you was in some kind of broach of his security perimeters or up on him when you wasn't supposed to be, Took would slap you. Oh, he was an expert at the back end.
Slap the shit out of you.
Yeah, he would slap the shit out of you. But Took was also somebody who was dedicated to the art of bodybuilding and this cripping. Yeah. I mean, Took was a man that seen the potential in this cripping at a very young age and wanted to take us to where we supposed to be.
I think he mentioned you in his book. I think he mentioned you in his book.
Well, yeah, Big Marcus. He called me Big Marcus at the time. He when he wrote his book, we was going through some penitentiary politics per se, and it was best that because of what was going on in prison, that we kind of like, you know, kept our associations
low key.
Low key, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I see Monster Cody mention you in his book too.
Yeah, he did. Man, there's so many books out there. I'm mentioning Monster Cody's book. I'm mentioning, and let me see who else. It's just, I mean, it's books galore out there.
Yeah, well, like at least.
Lala had a book out there.
What's that?
Turtle
Lala
from Avalon just wrote a book. I did not read Turtle's book, man, The General or something like that, or Street General or something like that. I was told that I'm in that book, but I have not read it. And then, of course, Tretch, From Death to Deliverance. I'm prominent in his book. I'm in a bunch of crypt books.
I read at least three. At least 3 books I didn't read that they mention your name in the books. I was like, okay. I mean, you know, I already know, but still, it's good that, you know, that they mention, they acknowledge it. You know what I mean? That's all I be thinking, man. Like, I don't know. I just be feeling like my homies should be acknowledged too. That's how I be feeling. Like so many OG Crips is being acknowledged. I be like acknowledge my homies too, just based on what y'all done did. You know what I mean? But I salute to all those who done it and all those who doing it. You know, when y'all paved the way for us. What people don't understand, man, especially a lot of Crips, when y'all came through the system, it wasn't as many Crips in the system as it is now. You know what I mean? It's easier for Crips in a sense than it was when you came in, because you came in, what, 82? 81, 82?
I went to, I fell in 82 when I hit St. Quentin's yard in about July of 1983.
It's a big difference, huh?
Oh, it's no comparison, of course. But as far as the numbers is concerned, we had a substantial number of Crips inside prison when I got there. I mean, we were, I always used to go out there to the yard and told people we the ruling class out there. Yeah. But we wasn't as unified as we should have been, and that made it a little bit weaker in our cripping. But we was well represented. When I got to prison in '83, the CCO was the main factor in St. Quentin, and they was pretty tight and organized. So the Crips was highly respected and feared, per se, in prison at the time I got there. And I liked that.
Was that true what the CCO was doing with the sliding the paperwork under the doors and all that?
Well, it never happened to me. Yeah. So I'm not gonna, and it never happened to me, and nobody never ever got at me about that. I know that they had some recruiting tricks, per se. I mean, if you came to, they didn't really have to slide, you know, all those BGF sliding these paper up under your door. I know these stories and stuff, they running rampant. Yeah. All I can say is they never happened to me. Right. They never happened to any of my homeboys. They never, I mean, I seen their constitution. I seen the BGF, but I got it from other homies. I didn't get it from them. They never slid it up under my door.
Was it the same?
Yeah, so the 2 constitutions that I got from the BGF's the constitution and the CCO constitution is just, the only thing was the 3 alphabets. One was BGF and the other was CCO. Other than that, it was like verbatim, the same thing. And then that's what kind of like led, because I'm gonna tell you, at one of these Crip meetings with Raymond, he really planted the seed in my head about the Black Gorilla family, the BGFs, and he was in prison. And that kind of stuck with me throughout my whole term in prison. I mean, I didn't set out to actually go to war with him or be a disruption to him, but I also knew that, you know, my homeboy, Raymond Washington, put in my head that Crippin' ain't that, and Crippin' ain't with that, and we gonna stay what we do, and right. We gonna build what we got like we do, and that's what I did. So, you know, with all due respect to the revolutionary spirit and the homies is trying to, you know, really take Crip to a place they thought they needed to take it. That was all good, you know, that was all fine and dandy, but real Crips, what I consider real Crips is Crips that stay true to that blue rag and its formation and its growth within, you know, whatever course that may take. I mean, I don't know if Raymond could have foreseen what's going on today, but it is what it is. That's what Crip chose to do. Yeah. They done proliferated around the world. They're well represented in song and dance, Crip walking, movies, and rappers. And, it's still a work in progress.
Definitely. It's funny you say that, you know, it's worldwide. It's like, you know, I tell people that's Crips, man, and everybody that's all Bloods as well. If you don't tell your story, somebody else gonna tell it. They're gonna make a movie about it. Somebody like Oliver Stone, like when he made Colors, and then we're gonna complain about it. We all got a story to tell that need to be out there, I think. You know what I mean? I don't see that us going down in vain, like, okay, he's just a nobody. A lot of people just gone and their story's never told. Now, we just now getting Raymond Washington's story out, but Tookie's story been out there. And now we're getting your story out there, you know what I mean? So I think it's important for history of this Crippin', this whole gang culture, just to know and understand. We said, don't leave nobody out if you want to know the history about things. Just like Black history. So a lot of Black history we don't know. And a lot of people never took time to learn that. You know, it took most of us to go to prison to learn that. You know what I mean? So it's good to do your research and just, you know, just look it up to know your history. And so many people don't know history about nothing, you know what I mean? So I think that's important, man, very, man. But yeah, I always wonder, man, what it's like for you when you first went to jail for like you know, not just a juvenile, but even when you got life, you got your life sentence, because you got life and I had life, and we both out here now. And that's a good thing. I mean, it's a blessing. We free, and we can sit here right now and do this podcast on YouTube and all that. It's a good thing, considering what we've been. You know what I mean? So I asked you a minute ago about Tommy Gun.
Right.
You know what I mean? I met Tommy Gun in Pelican Bay when I was up there in '93. And all I knew about is everybody like that was Sparks' right-hand man back in the days. I know he's a gambler like a motherfucker. He's a cold gambler.
So am I.
Yeah, I knew. So he was up there, and Cartoon was up there from Avalon, all of them was up there, but Tommy Gun was getting it in. And then and it's a trip for me when I come to prison, and I think for all the young Raymonds come to prison, we come in and people look at us like right away, y'all blue notes, because of what y'all established. Right. And even though all of us haven't taken the oath, we just kind of fell in with it. And I tell people, I say, I never took a straight oath to say I'm a blue note, but at the same time, my big homies established that. So if something was to kick off, I got to ride with my big homies. Right. And that's what it was. So I got a lot of love, and a lot of homies from Raymond, we gotta admit that. We got a lot of love from a lot of people from different hoods because of what y'all done. Right. You know what I mean? So that's why I salute you for that, bro.
Well, it's cool. You know, all Blue Note was, you know, just staying honorable to the Blue Rag. And